Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and welcoming back this week, of course, is my good friend and co-host on the show, LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are, of course, the hosts of the Women of Golf Show. Good morning, Cindy, and welcome back.
Good morning, Ted. It's great to be back.
Yeah, you've been, as you quite eloquently put it, you've been spinning plates for a while, going here and there, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But Cindy, let me just remind everybody, of course, we are live every Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Best way to find us is go to blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf is the main link, or you can just type in Women of Golf up in the search key, and that will take you there as well. And we want to thank you all for joining us live. Some other great ways to tune into the program, of course, is go to iTunes.com, Stitcher.com, TuneInLive.com, and, of course, now TalkStreamLive.com is another great social media platform that you can tune into the show. Also, for some reason, if you can't join us live, we're glad for those of you that can, but for some of you that maybe tune a little bit later when it's convenient for you, just go to any of those social media platforms, and if you go to the blogtalkradio.com link that I mentioned a few moments ago and scroll down to the on-demand section, all of the previously aired shows, including today's, will be there a little bit later, and you can listen to it in the on-demand section. So join us live if you can, and if you can't, some other great ways to tune in at whatever time is good for you. But thanks again for those tuning in live this morning. Some other great ways to communicate with us as well. You can call into the show anytime during the live broadcast on Tuesday. The number is 347-945-5855, and we definitely want to start hearing from you. Also, reach out to us on our email addresses as well. For some reason, if you want to touch base with us or find out what's going on in our world, both on and off the show, you can reach out to Cindy at cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. We got two great guests. One we're bringing back for round two, if you will, Ruixin, who, of course, won her second tournament this season on the Symetra Tour. Of course, I'm talking about the 5th annual IOA Golf Classic. And then a little bit later on, we're going to be speaking with Dr. Cheryl Mitchell, who is a leading culinary innovator and the recipient of the Women Entrepreneur of the Year Award given out by the state of California. So we're going to talk about her, of course, a little bit about golf, but also some of the great things that she's doing. But Cindy, you're just fresh back from the LPGA Summit. Tell us very quickly a little bit about that, and we'll bring on Ruixin right after.
Well, we had lots of great speakers. Dr. Debbie Cruz was there. John Stabler from Golf Psych was there. We had people from the retail tribe there, Tom Patry, and we actually had Tony Delonte, a dancer from Dancing with the Stars. He was awesome.
Oh, wow.
So we were thrilled.
Very
we learned
cool.
lots of good stuff on the mental game, how to do business better. It was a very inspiring and educational week.
Right, and great time, I'm sure, had by all. Did you guys learn any interesting dance moves? Of course, since you had somebody from the dancing.
We did not. No, it's funny that the only dancing he did was he showed us how to spin, and that was basically it. But he showed us from up at the stage, and to be honest with you, he probably should have grabbed somebody and taken him up there, but he didn't, which is a shame because it could have been very entertaining and funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure he probably does a lot obviously on Dancing with the Stars, so maybe he wanted a little bit of a break and just wanted to relax a little bit. But yeah, that would have been a great opportunity. And also, just to quickly remind everybody, of course, yesterday was the 10th annual Marilyn Smith LPGA Charity Pro-Am that took place October 1st. So much success, of course, was had at that event. And, of course, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, Marilyn Smith and, of course, Debbie Waitkus was on the show with us to talk a little bit about that. So congratulations, Marilyn, again, on another successful event. I've seen all kinds of great posts on social media here over the last couple of weeks in preparation for and post-tournament as well. So job well done, of course, and I know she's going to be very excited about earning more money for the scholarship funds and so forth. So great work, ladies. All right, we've got a great first guest coming on this morning. As I mentioned, she was on a little while ago, back in June, and I'm talking, of course, about Ruixin Liu. This is her second year on the Symetra Tour as a professional. And once again, she stepped into the winner's circle for the second time in her career on Sunday at the Alaqua Country Club in Longwood, Florida, for the 5th annual IOA Golf Class. She carded a final round 4 under par, 67 to finish at 14 under par overall, claiming victory by 1 stroke over a group of 3 individuals. She became a first-time champion at the Island Resort Championship in late June, as I mentioned, where she also won by a shot. And with the victory, she maintains her spot at number 2 in the Volvic race for the card, and having already earned her full LPGA Tour card for 2019. And she's getting ready to tee it up this week in the season-ending Symetra Tour Championship, which is going to be contested at the Jones Course at the LPGA International in Daytona Beach, Florida. Dates, of course, October 4th to 7th. So, Ruixin, welcome back to the Women of Golf Show.
Hey, everyone. It's my honor to be back again.
Well, we're excited to. Yeah, congratulations. Second one this season. Great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad. You probably didn't expect to be back here so soon, did you?
I actually didn't, because after my first win, my performance kind of goes down a little. I think it's just the mental part, because after the win, I kind of set up the goal a little higher, and every time when I didn't reach that high, I get somehow upset and then a little angry about myself. And finally, I got my game back a couple of weeks ago. So I really didn't expect to get another win this year.
Well, it certainly came back with the vengeance, and we're glad it did. Again, congratulations. Cindy, I'm just going to have just a couple of quick questions here, and then I'm going to throw it over to you. You finished the tournament, Ruixin, at 14 under par overall, and you featured 5 birdies and really only 1 bogey. But what was really very interesting is at one point in the tournament, in the final round, you were actually trailing by a shot, and then you sort of slung together, if you will, 3 consecutive birdies from numbers 14 to 16, which ultimately helped you win the tournament. Tell us a little bit about that. You're trailing by a shot, and now you've got to step it up in order to get into the winner's circle. What was going through your mind but when you hit hole number 14?
Well, because I play with Dana, and she's really competitive. So after hole number 14, so that was my first birdie out of the 3. So after 14, there's a leaderboard, and I saw me and Dana both only lead by 1. So I know at that point I really need to step up of my game. And number 15 is a par 3, and I have a 6 irons in my hand, and that's probably my favorite club out of the bag. And I just hit really good, and within, I think, 5 feet, and I make that putt. And on the 16 is a short par 5, so I get my second shot pretty close to being it have an up and down. So after hole number 16, I know pretty much I am lead by either 1 or 2. I just need to finish decent on the last 2 in order to win. So, I mean, it wasn't that stressful for me after hole number 16.
Well, it's good. That's a little bit of a knee knocker for me. I mean, to only be leading it by one shot, that shows that you have obviously a lot of confidence in your game to be able to do that. Because a lot of people at 1 shot lead like that. That's even with a couple of holes to play, anything can happen at that point. Was there any point that maybe you thought, okay, you know what, somebody could, Dana or somebody else might be close enough that they could overtake that lead? Was there that thought going through your mind or no?
Well, it did, but as I mentioned before, I already secured my car for the next year. So
right.
I am pretty much relaxed all last week, starting from the hole number 1 all the way until the hole number 18, no matter it's round 1 or round 3. Like even round 3, when I had when I have all those par from number 6 to number 13 hole, I wasn't really stressed out about it because I just want to play my game and enjoy myself out on course. If I win, that's great. If I don't, I know I try my best. So I wasn't really nervous and stressed about the result last week. And I think that's number one key that helps me to get the victory.
Well, it's great. As
Wow.
you said, it's great to have that confidence. Cindy, go ahead.
I'm looking at your stats, and you had mentioned it earlier that once you won, the week after you missed the cut, and then you finished tied for 18th, tied for 15th, then you missed the cut, then you tied for 35th, then you missed the cut, then you tied for 14th, 58th, and then 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So what have you done in the last month that has totally changed your performance and where you finished in the tournaments?
So as you can see after the Garden City finish, which is tie 58, I already dropped out of 10. So I was at 11th on the money list at that moment. And before El Dorado shootout, I give a phone call to my coach and we discuss about everything. And also my dad helped me along the way with the mental part. And my putting is really helping me for the last 3 tournaments. Because with a 1 under finish, I am tied 3rd in El Dorado. That's a really, really tough course. My swing is okay, but because the course is really tough, the green is super fast. So I have a lot of, chipping opportunity, and my putting is doing really, really great. And also for last week, 15 under, tied 2nd, and this 14 under to win. My putting is the one thing that really improved a lot last month.
How did you improve your putting? What did you do?
Well, because normally I don't spend much time on the green. I basically on the driving range most of the time. So now I try to spend at least an hour and a half on the putting green every single day.
Wow.
Just try to get some practice done.
Wow,
what a great idea.
Yeah. I wish for you amateurs listening out there, there's some great advice that Ruixin just gave you, is spending time on the putting green instead of out there hitting balls. That's fantastic. Cindy, have you got another question for her?
So let me ask you, what was the big difference in your putting? Did you lag putt better? Did you make more putts within 10 feet? Did you chip better? What was the difference?
Well, before, when it's more than 10 feet, like my percentage wasn't that high enough. And then I noticed starting El Dorado for the last 3 weeks, when it's like 10, 20 feet, 25 feet. And sometimes when I look at a hole, I just feel like, it doesn't look that hard, it doesn't look that long. And when I feel like that, most of the time I can make it. So I would say when between 10 to 20 feet, my percentage, I think, is 30-40%. And then I make more long putts than before, way more for the last 3 weeks, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you're definitely exempt for next year. Is that true?
Yes.
For the LPGA Tour?
Yes.
Now, what will you be doing all winter to prepare to do really well on the LPGA Tour next year?
So I will leave October 10th, right after this week, the championship, back to China. There's 2 LPGA events in China, and I will play those 2. So, that's just a little taste of what I'm going to be facing next year. And then after that, I personally want to do a LASIK surgery on my eye so, I can see better next year when I play on the tour. And basically recovery and try to, warm up for next year.
Do you wear contacts right now?
Yeah, I wear contact. I mean, contact is not the biggest thing that bothers me. I have dry eye combined with the contact. That's a horrible thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow.
Well, yet you're still winning tournaments, even though you need to have LASIK surgery. That's pretty impressive in my book.
I have to be honest with you. Like last week, second round, I have really severe dry eye in one eye. So basically, I'm using only my left eye all day long just to play my golf.
Oh wow! What
Cindy,
do you put in the eyes? I have dry eye too, but thank God it's not that bad.
I mean, mine is pretty severe.
Wow.
Yuck.
Well, I'm giving up the game, Cindy. I can't compete with that. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but what's interesting is you don't let that become an excuse for your ability to either play well or not play well. You still sort of move forward with your game and adapt. And that says a lot about your character too, Ruixin, because, it's not always easy sometimes to compete out there, even in the best of circumstances. But when you're kind of got a little bit of a handicap like that, through the tournament, that can make not only very frustrating, but can actually, was it a distraction for you at any point? Like, was it to the point where it really distracted you from your play, or no?
Well, sometimes yes. Like second round, as I mentioned, when you only play with one eye, you have to use a hand to, cover your right eye and only aim with the left. That's really distracting. But also, when I think about it, it's not my fault. Whatever comes,
right.
I have to cope with it. And then if I cannot work out with it, then get over it. It's gonna get better.
Wow, I love that, Cindy. That's some great confidence there.
Good for you. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm looking to see if you're on Instagram and Twitter, and I don't see you. Do you not do
that's
social
the
media?
thing. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a Facebook account and Instagram account at the end of this year because I'm not really good at social media at all, but I'm trying. I will start doing this at the end of this year.
Now, did you play college golf?
No, I actually finished my high school last year, and I'm thinking about going to college after I retire. That's my plan.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So
that's
do your
very
mom and dad travel with you?
Yes, my mom and dad travel with me.
Oh, that's great.
Hmm.
Now, do
yeah,
you
that's
stay
fantastic.
in hotels, or do you have a camper? What do you do?
You mean where do we stay while we're traveling?
Yeah, do you have a camper, or do you stay in hotels or private housing?
Well, so we are living in Orlando right now. We have a house here at Lake Nona, and then when we travel, because we don't cope with American food that well. I love it. I can eat it for one meal or two, but when I eat it like for a week straight, my body doesn't cope with it. So we basically rent house like Airbnb, or we book a hotel with kitchen with it. So that way my mom can cook meals and it's better for us.
Oh, that's good. Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
No, only child.
Mm.
Well, this works out perfect.
Yeah,
getting all the attention.
well deserved, Ruixin. Well deserved. Let me ask you just to sort of piggyback on what Cindy was just talking about with your parents. I know from reading some of the notes in that obviously that they do travel a lot with you. But this past tournament, of course, your father was on the bag. Is that? And I think he was on, if I'm not mistaken, when you played in June as well. Is that correct?
Yes, he's on the bag for me most of the time this year.
Okay. Do you find it difficult sometimes? I mean, obviously, I know you love your father, but does it sometimes, because obviously you're his only child, and he's trying to look out for best for you. Does sometimes he give you advice while you're out in the tournament, and maybe it's not always what you want to hear at the time? Do you sometimes say, okay, Dad, I got this, or I know what I need to do here? Does it sometimes make it difficult having him on the back, or no?
I actually feel more comfortable when he's with me because I started learning golf when I was 6.5 years old, and he's been with me since then. And every single lesson I took from my coach, and every single time I practice, he's there with me. So he actually knows as much as I do. So we discuss every decision, like club selection, which way this putt is going to break. We discuss everything. Like, even though sometimes we have different opinions, I'm not going to get, upset or anything, because I know he's probably as good as me, and I am willing to listen to his advice, and sometimes just some backed up, and that just makes me extra confident about what I need to do.
That's fantastic.
Great. That helps a lot.
Yeah, let me just ask you one more question very quickly, then Cindy, I'll throw it back to you. You mentioned a few moments ago that he helps you mentally out on the golf course. Give us an example or two of some of the things that he'll say to you while you're in tournament play that helps you to stay focused.
Like in Ireland Resort, I hurt my back, I think 15 or 14. And at that moment, I was only leading by 1. So he will say, just relax and calm down. Don't try to go for birdie, just because you're in pain. Just try to finish and, try your best. And as long as you try your best, we're going to be happy about the result. And that helps me a lot. And then last week, Sunday, after hole number 16, I was lead by 2. And hole number 17 is a really long par 4 and really hard. And my dad is like, you know what? You don't need a birdie on this one. Just play safe, because there's a water on the left, so we have a 5-wood layup. And he's like, just play it safe. I mean, it's okay to have a bogey. Just, try to take some pressure off of me. And that helps me a lot. And otherwise, I may, try to hit a driver and ends up in the water, and who knows what's going to happen. So I'm really thankful he mentioned that, and we make the right decision at that time.
Yeah, that's a great asset for you to have him on the bag like that, to be able to help keep you calm and focused on the task at hand. That's a great thing to have. Cindy, any final thoughts or questions?
So let me ask you, why do you think he's so good at that? Because most parents are so pushy, and they almost make their kids more nervous. And your father is exactly the opposite. So what makes him so smart?
Well, I think he's just a smart man overall. You have to be smart in order to be success, and I would consider him as a really success person in his life. And sometimes because he's older and he makes the right decision, and he knows me and he knows how I play and how I think. And sometimes I don't know that on the course when I'm so competitive. And he knows me from an outside point of view, and I think that's 100% what I need at that point.
I totally agree with you. Now, is he a good player?
He used to be handicapped 6 or 7 before he has a herniated disc. So he quit playing right now because it hurts him really bad. But he used to be really good.
And one more question. How are your parents able to not make a living and to travel with you 100% of the time? Because that would be a dream situation for so many people, but I don't know that it would be possible.
My dad has his own company and a factory, so he don't have to be there. And my mom is a consultant for a world famous company, and she don't have to be there also. So they basically travel, and then they just need to make phone calls and Skype and then sending emails. and that works
that's
out.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
great.
welcome to the modern world.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you don't have to sit behind a desk anymore. You can just Skype your thoughts and recommendations into the company. That's fantastic. And you mentioned we got to give your mother some credit too. Obviously, your mother provides some great home cooking and nourishment for you to get out there and be fit and healthy while you play. So obviously, you have to give some credit to your mother for keeping you focused that way as well. Correct?
Of course, yeah. Because when we are out playing with my dad, my mom is always at the house or at the hotel preparing the meal when we come back. So she rarely go out on the golf course to watch me, and sometimes she get pretty emotional. She get pretty excited. So I personally like her to not watching me, but like I said, Sunday she was there. So I like it both way.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And just one final thing, and then we'll have to let you go. You mentioned off air we were talking about Cindy Miller, of course, a great LPGA professional, and you said that you would admire and really look up to her. What specifically do you admire about Cindy?
Well, in order to stay in the sport and stay in this, you have to be really determined. And I'm pretty sure this is this is her passion. This is her life, and she loves about it. This is hard. After all this year you are playing and you're dealing with all this, you have to overcome a lot of things, and this is hard for most of the people. Like sometimes even when we have injuries, and we are thinking about, oh my God, how long we can stay in this. And for her to, stay in the sport for such a long time and still passionate about it, that's just incredible. And I hope I can have that passion like her, forever. I really hope I do.
Well, that's
awesome.
That's fantastic, and you hit it, Ruixin. You hit it right on the nail, right on the head. Cindy definitely is very passionate about this game, and does so much to give back. Boy, what's some wonderful words, Cindy, that Ruixin had to say about you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, kick some butt on the LPGA Tour.
Well, she's got one more tournament on the Symetra Tour this week. First, Cindy, the championship. So good luck this weekend, or this week rather, and then also good luck out in the LPGA. And I hope that you'll stay in touch with us and maybe come back and join us on another show on the Women of Golf.
Well, thank you guys again, and I will try my best to come back as soon as I can.
All right. Well, we would love
Good
that.
Good luck in the tournament.
All right,
overseas.
All right.
Bye, honey.
All right. That was the winner of the Symetra Tour's IOA Golf Classic this past week, Ruixin Liu. What a wonderful young lady she is, Cindy. She just, very, very passionate, and some very kind words that she had to say about you. So obviously that says a lot about her character, that she's observant. She's not just, only thinking of herself. She looks towards the future, and she sees somebody such as yourself who has become a role model for her. So that's some very nice things to really have in dealing with your future. Cindy, we've got another great guest coming on the show, and before that, let me just remind everybody very quickly, we got a moment or two, that we are live every Tuesday mornings on the Women of Golf show, and hope you'll join and tune in. Go to blogtalkradio.com, and up in the search key type Women of Golf. Some other great ways to tune into the program as well is through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and TalkStreamLive.com. Again, just type in Women of Golf in the search keys, and you can check us out there when it's convenient for you. And you can also reach out to either Cindy or I. Our emails are cindy@cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. We really want to hear from you, not just your thoughts and comments about shows you've heard already, but maybe you've got some interesting topics, or maybe some people that you know in the golf industry that you haven't heard on the show before, or maybe you have and you'd like for them to come back, we're always open to suggestions. So please reach out. We really want to hear from you. All right, Cindy, our next guest is waiting in the wings. So let me just do a quick introduction, and then we'll bring her out and we'll continue on the conversation this morning. Our second guest this morning is Dr. Cheryl Mitchell. She's a leading culinary innovator, and she is the recipient of the Women Entrepreneur of the Year Award by the state of California. And she's becoming, as I said, a leading culinary innovator, having a pioneering spirit, a brilliant scientific mind, and commitment to health. She started her career as a food scientist, developing cooking methods that would retain the nutritional value of plant-based foods. It wasn't long before she was recognized as a world expert in the cooking and processing of grains, and it was her expertise that is used to make the largest selling rice beverages in the United States. However, she wasn't satisfied with the accomplishment, as it was only the beginning of what she believed could be done to maximize the nutrients and value of plant-based foods. And she was right. After 20 years, she finally was able to unleash the proteins and all of the nutrients in grains, nuts, and seeds using only traditional mechanical and fermentation methods. So we've got lots to talk about. Let's bring her out and welcome our very special guest, Cindy.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Cindy. Ted, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
We're doing great.
So
we got you up really early. You're in California. I'm very sorry about that. Forgive me.
No, that's okay. I just got off another call, so we're good.
Okay, good. So, Ted, I have to tell you how I met Dr. Cheryl Mitchell. I was giving a lesson in the Golf Dome in Buffalo, in Williamsville, and her husband happened to be hitting balls 2 or 3 stalls over. And I think he was eavesdropping and listening to me. And at the end of the lesson, he came over to me and he goes, "Who are you?" And I told him who I was, and he goes, "You have to meet my wife because you two will get along like 2 peas in a pod." And I didn't realize that they had moved from California, and she can tell you now what she's doing, but she came in for a lesson. And now we have created a monster, and she's playing in all these tournaments, and she absolutely kills the ball. But, Cheryl, you got to tell Ted what you're doing with Elmhurst and how great your products are. So go ahead.
Great. You know, actually with Cindy, so Cindy has been my mentor and teacher when it comes to golf. And so we got to talking one day, some of the products we were doing, and not only are we doing nutritive non-dairy plant milks, which is really a new area in the category of plant beverages. And so this is a technology that I brought from California and is being implemented by Elmhurst, which was a dairy actually in Jamaica, New York. And the last and oldest dairy in Jamaica, New York. And unfortunately, because of the economics and everything, they had to close that facility. But the owner wanted to continue to deliver nutrition to the doorstep, as he has and his family had for 100 years. And that's when we got together. And I said, but Henry Schwartz is the owner of Elmhurst. And he said, and I said, I have this technology to maximize the nutrients in any grain, nut, or seed, and we can put it into a beverage format that we can deliver directly to the doorstep now. And so he was very excited. He himself has kind of gone, like many of us, from the flexitarian route, meaning that you're trying to focus, or because of health or environmental or ethical reasons you want to go towards plants, but they're looking for the nutrients in the plants. And that's where we can now make that product, and we're making it right here in Elma, New York, which is right outside of Buffalo.
Wow. You know, it was interesting when I was researching a little bit, Cheryl, for today's show and putting some, and Cindy had sent me over obviously your bio and so forth. So I went on to Elmhurst's website, and I mean, it was just sort of blown away by the products and things that you've helped them put together with the technology that you're mentioning. And I have a couple of questions about that. I want you, secondly, I'm going to ask you a different question first, but I want to talk about some of the differences, of course, between what's been out in the market and what you guys are now producing. But the question I want to ask you first is, you're obviously recognized as a world expert in the cooking and processing of grains. Explain to the audience, first off, why they're good for us. What specifically about them is good for us?
And what we wanted to do was, when you take any grain, nut, or seed, obviously you want, let me start from the beginning. For 2,000 years, all we've been doing is either grinding them to a flour or a paste, like a butter, like a peanut butter. And
right.
The problem with that is that when we want to put it into a format that in this world today, everybody's grab and go. They want to eat their food very quickly, or drink it in a beverage, in a shake, in a protein shake. And the question was, how do we release all that nutrients so that we can put it into a beverage? And this is what the technology that I developed was, is we call it a hydro release. It's a really nice and gentle way to liberate all the really good nutrients, the carbohydrates, the proteins, very importantly, the proteins, the carbohydrates, the natural oils, and then let them form their own emulsion. You don't need a lot of different ingredients. Everybody else puts in added oil and added stabilizers and emulsifiers. You don't need any of that because it's in the grain, nut, or seed itself. It just needed to be released, and that's what my technology has done. So we're very excited about it because here, when you drink our beverages and any of the Elmhurst milk products, you get the full nutrient value of the product, and the fact that the proteins are released improves the digestibility substantially. So here, in 8 ounces, you get a handful of nuts or a handful of whole oats. Nobody else can do this in their products. They haven't released all the natural ingredients, and so when they try to process it, it fouls up the system that they're running, and so they have to use very little. So most of the almond milks, for example, have anywhere from 2 to 4 almonds. Ours has a full 18 almonds. So
wow.
It gives you an idea of, and that's per serving. So this is all about nutritional, and really getting nutrition in a very natural, simple way.
You know, Cheryl, a lot of people have talked over the years, about different products out there, and a lot of times, as you pointed out a few moments ago, about a lot of different additives and things like that are added on to sort of spruce it up, and really not getting much of the product that they're advertising, the nutrients rather, that they're advertising, as you just pointed out with the almond milk. And that was something obviously that was important to you, not to create another product that was just going to throw a bunch of other things in there in order to, as fillers, in order to create a product. You wanted to make sure that this was going to be the best quality product out there, and you've obviously successfully done that. Was that a long process in the making?
Yeah, it was. I like anything else, you don't become a great golfer overnight either. As I've been learning from Cindy, you have to stay with it, and it takes a lot of practice to kind of build those strokes in and get your swing organized. It's the same thing when you're developing these type of products. It does take time. It took us 5 years in research, just focusing on how to maximize and release all the natural components of any grain, nut, or seed. Then we had to build a manufacturing facility because there was no manufacturing facility anywhere in the world that could actually make this product. So I had to build and design that, and then, of course, reduce it to practice where we were actually manufacturing it. And all in all, by the time that I started with this project to where we're actually coming out with a product, we're talking about close to 20 years.
Wow.
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 Yeah. That is a long time. Now, Cindy mentioned to me off air, Cheryl, before you came on, in addition to obviously an incredible education that you have, but you've also developed a lot of patents. Tell us a little bit about some of those.
Well, the patents were all related. I started in with the rice patents very early on. So there was a product called Ruixin that's out there, and those were my patents in development. And that's really where I learned what the problem was with, we really wanted to have a non-dairy beverage, and this was back in the 80s. And it was very frustrating because I had to remove all the nutrients in order to make it processed so we could put it into the aseptic container. Now, the aseptic containers are those containers that don't require refrigeration. You've seen them up on the store shelves and everything. Certainly, they're very, very convenient. And we see them in smaller now grab-and-go type of things that are very stable and don't require refrigeration. They're very important to have. But the process going into that is a very high temperature. It brings it up to a very high temperature and then cools it very quickly within seconds. And this preserves a lot of the nutrients and the value of the raw materials that you're putting in there. But and it also gives you this commercial sterility. So it's a safe product to consume. Now, of course, once you open it, you have to refrigerate it. I'll say that right now. But when I developed the Ruixin and had all those patents, and by the way, those patents also led to things like the rice syrup that people see. It's been used as a replacement for corn syrup and maltodextrin, and so it's a very natural sweetener. And also rice vinegar. So many of us use rice vinegar. Well, it became the base for most of the rice vinegars that are being used in the United States as well. So this was a tremendous opportunity to use another raw material such as rice, which was hypoallergenic. And so that's where those patents went into. And I've done a lot of patents with other ingredients, and I also specialize in rehydration formulas. So I spent a lot of time in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and working with the team there at the International Center for Diarrheal Disease Research, for cholera research. And they were wondering about the rice base that I had developed, and they needed more information because they found it was more effective for rehydration than just glucose. And I understood why because of my expertise. And so I spent some time working with them, and we were sharing information with regards to how to make a good hydration formula. Now, that's very important because that's one of the things that we're also starting to get into now over at Elmhurst, is coming out with a hydration formula that is more oriented towards basically very simple ingredients. It would be rice and the electrolytes. The product tastes fantastic, but the rice has a very special micro components in it that allows for a very unique absorption of the electrolytes, and hence you absorb the water faster. So this is a very, very critical and huge development, and we're very excited. So we're going through the tasting protocols right now to look at all the different flavors, and we have some very exciting flavors that are coming out. But this thing will be very low in sugar, and we don't need that much added sugar at all because the rice just has a very nice taste by itself, and it won't have any of the colors or anything, so it's not going to dye your tongue. And it's more for two things. I was targeting the young people and children and young adults, as well as some of the older people that don't want that really intense flavor and the acidity. So when we think all the thirst quenchers right now that are out there, some of them aren't hydrating, some of them are. But with the thirst quenchers, they're highly acidic, and they're mainly the flavors, the fruit flavors, this type of thing, necessarily have to be more acidic, and so we're talking about something that's going to really upset your stomach, especially if you're out in sports. You understand it. You get the glugs in your stomach after chugging down a bottle of Gatorade. This is not going to, be a good thing for you. However, if you have a more neutral pH that's closer to pH 7, and without that high in total acidity, it makes it something that's very easy to consume, very gentle on the stomach, and really it's appealing once you get into it with the natural salt flavor of the electrolyte with the rice. It's kind of like the idea of when you're sick. You know how good chicken noodle soup tastes? Well, when you've been really working out, this hydration it's just simple. Less is more. You don't need that intensity of flavor or acidity. This really, all of a sudden, you sit there and realize after you drink it, you go, that was really refreshing, and you don't need all the stuff in it. And so we're very excited to get that launch, and that'll be launching out through Elmhurst very shortly as well.
Wow. Cindy, I don't know about you, but I think I want to become a taster. I think that sounds like a great job to have, to taste some of these great products that Cheryl and the rest of the team are coming up with.
We can arrange
we're going to give out. Yeah, listen, I might just have to come up to Western New York and become one. Cindy, go ahead. I know you've got some questions.
So that being said, Cheryl, where can we find the Elmhurst products?
The Elmhurst products are pretty much distributed right now throughout Western New York, and actually all throughout the Eastern and Midwest, and we're getting into the West Coast as well. So it's locally in Wegmans and most of the other stores. And I'm really bad as a researcher. Sometimes I don't remember all the stores that it's in, but we have been getting out there to everyone. So it's very available now. And if you can't find it, you could always go online to www.elmhurst1925.com and order it directly and have it shipped to your doorstep.
Well, there you go.
Very
I know
good.
It's available in Publix. I'm in Florida right now, so I know it's available here.
Yep, definitely in Publix down south. Yeah, I didn't know you were down there.
Oh. Well, I'm in Florida. Yeah, I'm in Florida as well. I didn't know that. And I've got a Publix right down the street. So yeah, I'm gonna go and check that after the show.
Absolutely.
Let me, Cheryl. Let me ask you. We talked about we got to throw a little bit more golf in the conversation before we let you go. But I could listen to what you're saying all day long, because it always intrigues me, with what they're doing with different products and things like that. And I like the fact that obviously you're putting a premium on not just the quality and the taste, but the science behind it. But as Cindy mentioned to the audience in the beginning, in the introduction, that your husband actually sort of introduced the two of you. Do you consider yourself sort of an avid golfer now, or do you still think you're a newbie? And what do you enjoy most about playing? Obviously, Cindy mentioned you're kind of getting hooked on the game a little bit. What do you enjoy most about playing golf?
Golf is, to me, something a time for me to relax and focus on something else. But I have to admit, too, that when you get that mind release with the golf, it breaks me away enough so it allows me to be more creative in my own personal life and, of course, my work life. But that's where I try to get a really good balance. It's learning psychologically how to handle yourself both at work and on when playing golf. You have, and you know this, as you're practicing or working out, especially with my drives, which I absolutely love to work on the long shots. but I also know that I have to work on my short game and the focus. But that focus and intensity of focus that you have and learn while you're playing golf in order to play well is the same focus that you basically have to apply in all the work that you do and the rest of your life. So I right now it's funny. I wouldn't just separate the whole golfing experience from the rest of my life. They're at this point pretty much interchangeable. So it's learning of the skill of focus. I guess that's how important golf is to me.
Wow, very interesting. And I'll tell you, you couldn't have picked a better person to partner with in learning and developing those skills than Cindy Miller, because she certainly is the top of her profession, as are you and yours. So, and obviously she likes to have a little bit of fun along the way. So, Cindy, tell us just very quickly some of the things that you're helping Cheryl with her game on. What particularly, is there anything specific that you guys are focusing on or have been focusing on?
I believe tempo is probably most important because she's a little bit of a competitive control freak like I am. She's a little more analytical, which is, understandable for what she does as a PhD and a food expert and biologist and chemist and, all the stuff she does. She can sometimes pay attention to too many details, and it sometimes trips her up, so she almost needs to simplify the whole process and then just remember to swing the club, because we all try to make it happen.
Right. It's trusting the swing and building the confidence that it's about trusting the swing and building the confidence to just let it go.
I think I understand a little bit better why your husband matched you up with Cindy Miller, because it sounds like you have a lot of similarities in your personalities. Let's see, control. What else did you say, Cindy? What were some of the other ones? That. All kidding aside, ladies, one of the things that I've said, Cindy, you've heard me say this many times on the show, and really without coming out specifically and saying it, Cheryl, you kind of alluded to this. Golf really is intertwined and mimics life in so many ways. There's so many things while you're playing golf that really, we face many challenges out in the golf course, much like we face challenges in life. And golf really does teach you to focus and how to overcome some of the obstacles that you might be faced out in the golf course. And obviously that's going to translate into doing that in your business and your home life and so on and so forth. So a great observation by you, Cheryl, in pointing that out, because I think a lot of people don't realize that there is a great parallel. Now, you're playing in a lot of different tournaments and things like that. Now, obviously, were you playing at all much before you and Cindy connected, but maybe just struggling a little bit, or not at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, it was the first time that I had actually started to playing with with other women and in tournaments, in a tournament situation. So I did that just for the exposure and also learning how different clubs, work in their tournaments and. The most difficult thing I find in the tournament is I had to learn how to relax with playing with other women. I was just too, I guess, self-conscious. It was a nerve-wracking thing because I had been playing with my husband and just my husband all the time, and just relaxing. So I didn't. When I'm more relaxed, and even when I play with Cindy, I'm a lot more relaxed. But you put me in with another group of women. It must be the same thing with men. I can't imagine that it would be any different when a guy goes out and plays with other men. But you really are kind of wondering how you kind of fit into the other group. So this year was a good experience for me, playing with other groups, other women, and putting myself a little bit out there on the edge. I think you just have to jump into it that way. I know now what I have to work on with regards to consistency. I don't like making all the shots where I put myself in a bad position and I have to do the rescue shots, but I'm really good at rescue shots. But that's not what I want to be playing, most of the time if I don't have to. That would obviously improve my score substantially on that way. But then I see it's actually good to play with other people, because then you learn for yourself what you really need to work on, and it really makes you focus on your scoring game and what you can do to improve it. If you're playing relaxed golf all the time, which is great, but it doesn't give you a chance to really work on your improvement of the game.
Well, I think that was a fantastic thing for your husband to do, to reach out to Cindy and get you professional help like that, for a simple reason. And Cindy, you'll attest to this. There's a lot of spouses out there that get their partners into golf and want to sort of teach them themselves. And it's good to learn from somebody that understands the game from a professional level, as opposed to, your husband trying to teach you. And I'm sure he does help you a little bit here and there, but I think that was a smart move on his part to connect you with somebody that is able to show you properly and not pick up his, maybe bad mistakes or flaws in the game. So that was great on his part.
Well, absolutely, and it's funny because we talk about this all the time. I always wonder how married couples kind of do it. I mean, he taught me from the very beginning, but if you are really getting serious about it, it's better to find your own coach, your own teacher. Learning from your spouse is, and it's funny. There's a lot of funny stories. When we first started playing, I'd be up there getting ready to tee off, and Ken would, right in my backswing, he goes, you really need to change your angle. And that didn't go over. I think we were down in Monterey somewhere, and coming up on like the 18th hole, and I literally took off running after him, and he's running down there, and I'm throwing my club at him. And the people are all sitting there, very nice day in Monterey, just kind of watching this episode. And I said, okay, so we came to an agreement. Once I'm up there on the tee box, he cannot say anything.
Well, let me just explain to you why that's happening. See, what happens is, and I can speak as a male, he noticed that you were improving so much. That's a tactic that we use in order to derail your efforts, so that you don't get better than him. So that's a tactic. That's unfortunately the male ego at its best. But great story. Cindy, any quick final thoughts or comments that you have? And then unfortunately we have to let Dr. Mitchell go.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you for being the inventor extraordinaire. And thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys have a really great day down in Florida.
You
Perfect.
too.
Thank you, Cheryl, and welcome to this great game of golf.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to playing more golf down in Florida too. So.
Have a great
Perfect.
day.
Well, you have a
okay.
Right, bye-bye.
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 All right, that was our very special guest, Dr. Cheryl Mitchell. And just to very quickly, for the folks tuning into the show, if you want to learn more about some of the products and a little bit more about Elmhurst's story, you can go to elmhurst1925.com and check it out there. And I'm sure you can probably find out where some of the other locations, in addition to Publix and Wegmans, of course, that in your area where it may be able to pick it up. And if it's not in your area, you can certainly, as Cheryl mentioned, you can order it online. But we want to thank both of our very special guests this morning, Ruixin Liu, of course, recent winner on the Symetra Tour, and Dr. Cheryl Mitchell, inventor extraordinaire, as Cindy put it. On that note, we've got to close out the program. Thank you, Cindy. I know you're going to be away again next week. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm certainly missing you each and every week that you're away, but I'm grateful and thankful for the weeks that you are here. And I know you're a busy woman with lots going on. Where are you going next week?
I'm going to be at French Lick Resort doing a golf school at the French Lick Resort. So I'm going to be teaching people at the same time as our show, so forgive me. If I can call in ahead of time, I will for a minute, but otherwise, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be there.
No, I don't blame you. And then the week after that, you're going to be trying to qualify for?
The Senior LPGA Championship. So hopefully I'll be playing at French Lick. If I don't qualify, I'll be on the show. And we have two very special, great guests that week. We have Susie Whaley, the incoming president of the PGA of America, the first woman president ever. And we have Kathy Whitworth.
Yep, joining us. And I'm very excited for having both of those ladies on the show. Kathy, of course, was Cindy, I'm sure you remember, was our very first official guest on the Women of Golf show. So very excited to have her back. And of course, obviously, we're excited to have Susie Whaley, the incoming president of the PGA of America. So on that note, thank you, everybody. God bless for joining us this morning. I hope you'll see us next week right here on the Women of Golf show. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.